We have a few more things to do, but we're almost done. We need to finish, put some stuff on the floor here. I want to make this floor a little bit more interesting. Then I want to add some small hooks all around the place. I want to add maybe some long cuts on these panels, or maybe like cuts here on the top or something. And we need to do something with the panels. They're a bit too plain. Then we need to also add more handles. Think of a better way of mounting these lights. And some strength beams here underneath the chassis for sure. And we need to fix the barrels. I'm not sure if I like this. Maybe we're going to do something else here. And then we need to put some antennas and something on this scanner dome, whatever the hell it is. And we need to change this monitor because I forgot about the elements. So we're gonna make it into a hood. I have an idea. And we need to definitely mount the canisters here, right? Yeah, maybe some kind of like bits here around the rooftop, you know. So we have just, you know, bits and pieces. I think we're gonna start with the beams on the bottom, right? So let's just grab a cube, okay? And so let's just, you know, do that. And now this could be done in multiple ways, but I think the best way to do it is gonna be just let's scale it S and Shift X. Skeleton X like this, right? Come on. There we go. And then skeleton X here, right? So boom, right? And let's see if it's actually fits here. I think it's cool. Could be a little bit maybe more narrow. Yeah, something like this. And then let's actually cut this. Let's go to local view, okay? Let's cut this with what the fuck? Let's cut this with the box cutter and press K for knife. Let's grab these and extrude them. So Alt and macro. Okay, and this should go in both ways. There we go. And if this is too thick, we can always make it thinner, you know, right? And since it's a beam, let's just put the bevel on because I can't see shit. And I think I might put some holes in it. In fact, what we could do is run another cut here and extrude these, you know, just not as far, yeah. So Alt and macro do this. And then you got this kind of a unbendable beam like for construction, right? And in addition to this, we could run some holes in here. So let's grab it. Let's go with the dots. And let's just run a circle here, press X, and scroll down. You don't need so many, you know, so many verts. I mean, 16 probably will do. Maybe, I don't know, 18 max, yeah. And let's just move it here. So GX and move it in here. And we go into, well, we can actually cut this and array the, you know, this one, right? So just array it across. Let me just move back. Let me see how many we have here. You know, this could work, right? Let's reduce it and move it a little bit to the middle. Boom, right? How are we looking? Let me see this. Okay, so now let's drop it in here. One at the back. You wanna look at the whole design, okay? So you see like this is a beautiful concentration of detail here. That's why I wanna put it there. And then we could array this. So, you know, array that, right? On X here, one beam here, and I would like one more here, but I don't know if we're gonna have space for this. So maybe just two in here, you know, like this. This could look interesting, and they should be shorter, right? So what we could do is move them in, right, like this. Okay, somewhere here. And we could mirror them to the other side. So Alt X and, you know, modifier. Do we have a mirror here? Let's mirror them across here. So Alt X and boom, right? And, you know, the circles in the middle are going to be messed up, but, you know, don't worry about it. It's not, you know, it's no worries. It's fine. And then we could adjust it a little bit, you see. So here, I have a scroll, right? Let's just scroll this down. So let's grab the modifier and array it down. Okay, and just, there we go, right? And boom. I think it's gonna be better, okay? That's cool. And we do need something in the front as well, right? So, you know, Shift DY and move it in here. And here I would do it differently. So let's just grab this array and move it forward. But is it going to work? No, see, this will not work for us. This will not work for us. Maybe just one in here, you know. Just one. And definitely, you know, needs to be shorter. And maybe we don't need the holes. Maybe this will do. Hang on. Let me just see this. Maybe we could just make this narrower and do something like that. You see that this could be interesting. Or maybe one here. And then array this on X. Where is it? Hang on. Let me just nuke this array. Array it one more time. There we go. And array it all the way here. Boom. I think that's kind of cool. This could be even, you know, even narrower. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? I think that's pretty peachy. And this, you know, these in the back could be just monstrous, right? They could be a little bit, you know, less, maybe less thick, like that, right? And then we will need to probably fix the bevel here. And also let's make sure that the bevel isn't too large. And if the holes didn't get, you know, distorted, because I think they did a little bit. So let's just apply scale. Yeah, they slightly distorted. So let's recover the cutters. And we're probably gonna have to recut this here. You know, because these got distorted. So let's do it again, okay? So click here and, you know, run a cut. And G, X, and run it in here. Run it through. Recover the cutter and array it. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And let's just go back. See this? Let's, you know, spread it a bit and move it deeper. And I think this is cool. I like that. This is good. So now this one, you know, we could apply this, this mesh here. So let's just, you know, modify smart apply. Just let's make sure that we're not applying bevels, yeah? Because, you know, I got a PSDT. I'm serious. I'm not even joking. I'm paranoid right now with bevels, okay? So let's maybe run a cut here like this. And across this entire mesh. And then X twice and slice it. How we looking? Why didn't go? Do we have a duplicate mesh here? Oh, we have a duplicate mesh here. Interesting. So let's move it to backup. And backup. And there you go. I think we're gonna be fine now. Yeah, see that? That looks a little bit better. Now, what we could do is have a scroll this, and obviously we can adjust the height of it. But we could move this below this beam, you know. I think it's gonna look kind of cool, though. I don't like this being aligned with the wheels, so I'd rather move it higher here, like that. Let me see how this looks. I'm not sure about this side here. Maybe just the front, you know. So let's recover this. And let's slice it here like that, okay? So X and slash it, right? So this, you know, this cutter ends here, okay? It ends here, right? Now what I'm seeing here is flip normals. I can smell them, man. I can smell them, you see what I mean? So let's apply this, operations multiply. Just check if you don't apply a bevel. Select everything Alt N and not flip. Recalculate normals, there we go. You know, I can smell these things, man. I can smell them. Here, we could have some notches or whatnot, you know. Let me just swap this to a cut because it's annoying. And W for wedge cut, like this, and cut. And then let's just array this. So I will scroll this and operations modifier array X and run maybe 3 of them. Or maybe, hang on. Let me just move it underneath the beat. No, actually that's gonna be boring. I'm gonna do this manually, hang on. Let's just select this cutter. Go to edit mode, select everything, shift D to duplicate it, and then Y, and we're gonna move it somewhere here manually. And weighted normals, right? Let me see this now. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Although, this maybe should be closer here. See, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, let's just go to that edit mode, GY, move it closer. I'm trying to create kind of like a concentration of details and spacing. Oh, I think this looks better. This looks better, okay? I do want some cutting here. I just don't know how to run this yet. I need to see this. Maybe across this entire shape, like that. Let me see this one. We got flip normals again, you see. But wait, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Maybe. Maybe. Let's go to local view. Let's apply this. Smart apply. Smart apply this one. Select them both. Go to edit view, Alt N, and recalculate outside. Okay, now let's try to see how we're looking. I think it's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. In addition, you know, we could just run some fun stuff here like this, you know, which normally you wouldn't be able to do, right? So let me see this in local view. If you want to run a bevel like this, you need an edge here to run it along. So K, snap here, and then A, and do this, okay? And then apply. And then you can run an edge, bevel here, watch. See what I mean? You need a guide for a bevel to run on, okay? Otherwise it will not work, right? Let's see this. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty cool. I like that. Let's just, you know, mirror this, okay? Creates a bit of an aggressive front here, like a mouth. I really like it. Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. And we got the beams, which is cool. Now we need some kind of small, you know, like hooks and stuff. And this is really easy to make. So just grab a cube, right? And let's just make it a little bit longer. So, you know, like this. Apply scale. And select these two edges, okay? And then, you know, Control B, C for, what I call them, clamp. And then press 3, otherwise you're gonna get 2 edges in here in the middle. So 3 to clean with the machine tools, and then scale it down and bevel it. And then we're going to chamfer it, okay? It's important, on both sides, right? Chamfer it, like that. And we're gonna run a cut through it, so D, circle, and we need to connect these two here with J. Control, run a circle. Make it, you know, smooth, like maybe 36 or something, and you want to make it a little bit wider, and boom. Why didn't go through? One more time. There we go. Boom, right? And sharpen this, and we're going to chamfer this one as well, okay? Boom, right? And now we got a, you know, kind of like a hook whatnot, so we can just spam it around our mesh. So we could have it on sides here on the top. Just let's move it obviously smaller, like this, right? So hooks here. And then let's think about the placement. I would place it somewhere here and Shift D, or maybe even Alt D. You know, if Alt D this, you're gonna create an instance. So when you texture one, you texture all of them. Somewhere here, you know, in this concentration here in the front, I think it's gonna look pretty good. And we're gonna move them inside, right? So GX and move them inside like that. Obviously mirror them to the other side, right? No brainer. So that's cool. And what the hell happened? Did I flip them? I think I flipped them. Yeah, X to reset the mirror and mirror. Boom. Then we need more of them. So we need one here on the side. So Shift D and hold Control and snap it here to the... it will not work, I think. Let me see if my snapping is turned on. Face, align, rotation. Yeah, that should work. Maybe because it's mirrored. Let me see this. So select this one and nuke the mirror and G and hold Control. Yeah, okay, this will not work. Fair enough. So let's just do it manually. So, you know, rotate it, hold Control, boom, right? And you can snap it here. You can make it smaller. You know, it doesn't have to be so huge, right? That's the thing. So can put it somewhere here, G, and we could have one here. Could be vertical or could be horizontal like this on the side. I mean, it's up to you what you want to do with this. If you make it horizontal, it could be larger somewhere here, you see? And move it outside. Obviously, we need to mirror this. Just remember to mirror stuff. Make sure you're not using a flip mirror. And this one could be a little bit to the front, you know. You could even have two in here. So Alt D, Y, and have two. Like this. Don't space them evenly. Just leave a bit more, you know, room here in the front. So they're going to be kind of misaligned. And then obviously we need them in the back. So we need them here. This could be a raid. We need to move it forward. I mean, outside here and up. Yeah, so G and here. And these could be larger, you know. These, yeah, this could be larger. So, you know, something like this here. And then a raid. So X, right? And maybe, I would say maybe 3. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. You know what? I wanted to end here before this chamfer. So let me just kind of grab this array and make it a little bit narrower, and then GY. Perfect. So it sort of starts here and then ends here on this beam. There we go. That's good. I like that. I like that. Good, 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 good. Now we could use 2 of them in the front, but obviously larger. So Shift D, right? Here to the front. You can't see him because it's mirrored, and it's mirrored across X. So boom, there you go. Make them larger, and we're going to, you know, slap them here. So then we're gonna have to rotate them. So R, Z, Z, or Y, Y, and 90. That didn't work very well. R, Y, Y, 90. Okay, R, Y, Y, 180. There we go. Well, these are too large, right? Obviously, but let me just see this. Could just place them somewhere here. I think it's gonna be pretty bloody badass, right? How are we looking? Maybe this should be narrower somewhere here. Maybe here, like this. In fact, what we could have here is kind of like a bar between them, you know. This could look interesting, but hooks on its own could be also cool. So G, Y, Y, and X, X, and move them in a bit, yeah. You could combine them with the chassis, but you don't have to. I think that looks pretty freaking dope. Now, let's make sure they don't align with the pipes, right? So, you know, there's some clearance over there. Cool. Now, let's create some handles here. So Q and Control click on curve extract, move this in here. And let's just E and E, right? And then we're going to grab these two and Shift Control B, and I'm gonna create pipes. So mesh tools and curve extract and S, right? And then we're gonna scale this, nuke that, Shift S to Geo, and move it in here. And then let's see, right? Move one here, right? And then GX. Let me see this. Could be a little bit low. Let me just grab this cabin and this pipe. There we go. Because I want to make sure that the the angle here aligns really nicely. There we go. And then Alt D, Y, and move it in here. Let's see this. And they need to be sort of closer. Hang on, GY. Move this one in here, and this one should be a little bit closer. There we go. So we got these handles here on the side. Perfect. And with this done, we also need... yes, I wanted to move these to the back because they kind of annoy me over there. I want to move them in here and maybe drop one more in here, on the corner, so you can sort of hold yourself here when you're standing. But I think this looks much, much, much better. And speaking of the canisters, I was thinking that Instead of doing it this way, we could grab this and Control plus and nuke this. In fact, we could nuke all of this and faces, and then select these two, and if you have machine tool smart face enabled, you can press 2 to bridge them, okay? And then grab this one and shift curve extract the whole thing. This might be a bit more interesting like this, right? And then Control bevel, okay? I just think this is gonna look more robust, and there's gonna be a better connection here, but you know, that's just me. And then what I was contemplating is kind of like a massive clamp here, okay? So grab a, run a, either cut like this or cut like this, right? And X and slice this. And then what would happen is, obviously we need to slice it on the top as well here like this, right? So X and slice it. And then this slice would need to be, you know, precisely in the middle, okay? Or we could just actually leave an opening here like this, right? You know what I mean? So then you nuke this one and you simply mirror this one across across here. So let's just remove mirror from this, both mirrors, right? So this one, I got one mirror, okay? So mirror here and then mirror across this, so A and mirror, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna create like a massive hinge here in the middle, okay? So let's just grab a cylinder, scale it, and bevel it, obviously, and make it larger and drop it somewhere here. And we're gonna have to fix it, right? It's too big. So make sure you're scaling on individual origins. There we go. Move it in here. And this, by the way, is caused by the bevel and positioning of the cutters. So ever scroll and just move your cutter a little bit up or down. Boom, there you go. And you're gonna fix this. It's simply overlapping with one of these verts here in the middle. So let's grab this and move it somewhere here. We're going to grab that and, you know, kind of bevel this, right? Maybe apply scale first and then bevel. Or actually you could chamfer this like that. Might be interesting. And bevel this, and then just run the cut in the middle. So, you know, here with a cut. So run the cut here, like this, X and slash it, right? And now let's apply the cutter here. So operation is multiply. Just make sure that your bevel is not gonna get applied. Just be careful. It didn't. Okay, so S shift Y, make it larger, and there you go. And we can just simply, you know, duplicate it. So Alt D and Y and move it in here. Okay. What I want to do is create maybe a larger clearance here. So let's just go to Q and ever scroll. Come on. And move it a little bit down. There we go. A bit of a gap. I think it just looks really cool, right? And this one could be chamfered, you know. So we need to apply this, but before we do, let's nuke the bevel, because seriously, if my smart apply gets, I mean, if my bevel gets applied again, I'm gonna get annoyed. So I'll click here. Motherfucker. Where's this bevel here? Okay. Alt click here and then bevel. Okay. Jesus. And then we're going to nuke this one. So dissolve it and then run a chamfer here like this. Okay. Let me see this. Yeah, this is really cool. Really cool. Nice. And then what I want to do is I want to run a loop here, split it, and I want to select every second one here all the way to the top. Bring my cursor to the middle here, so Shift S and to select it. Go back here and insert them, and then scale them on cursor inwards, just a little bit, not too much. So you don't want them to break, yeah? You don't want them to break, just a little bit. See, there's kind of like an indentation, kind of like a hint of something. I think it's really cool. Oh yeah, the mirror got applied because we applied smart apply, that's why. Shift click here and then new mirror and boom, right? Perfect. Okay, how are we looking? We're looking good. So now we need to mirror these through the other side. So mirror across the barrel. So click here and here. Then Alt X and actually shift click here, Alt X, and just mirror, and then select them again. And then across this one, Alt X A, and boom, right? And there we go, let's save it. Awesome, I really like it. This is way better than the previous one, right? So you got this mounting here. This plate is mounted, you know, to this structure. And that makes sense now. Okay. Now, this part here, I mean, this one could be smaller, you know. So what we could do is make this smaller. So let me just individual origins, Alt S. We could just scale it or scale it on all the axes except for Y axis, like this, right? And then we could grab this one and move it forward here. Hang on, a bit more. Maybe here? I kind of like this. I kind of like this. Let's do the same thing here. And then S Shift Y. Let me just see this here. S Shift Y. You know, so they don't clip our structure, do you know what I mean? So, and then E and extrude it here a little bit, right? Like that. That makes more sense to me, okay? Because now they kind of mount it, and you got these massive, you know, clamps, whatever, and you know, that looks pretty cool. We could chamfer these as well, right? Just a bit. Don't overdo it because you're gonna clamp the bevel here, but you know, a little bit, it's fine. It's gonna add a bit of a planar shift. And then you know what could be cool? We could create cuts in these. So what we could do here, since we have a pivot point in the middle, but this one is not really in the middle. Or is it? Maybe it's an illusion because this line here is not in the middle of the grid. Anyway, what I was trying to do is run a cut here like this. Not the line cut. Cut here like this. Shift click, right? And let's just move this in. So G and X here and scale it. Hold control like this. And then we could radial array this, right? So mesh tools and radial array like this. Create more of them like that, right? And then apply this. So apply this one right here. Operations multiply. And then we could Alt Z this, and we could select just these, right? Control I, nuke them. So nuke verts, and then simply mirror. So we're gonna get this kind of nice, like a vice, do you know what I mean? I think it looks pretty badass. So that could be mirrored. So ever scroll, right? And then mirror across the barrel, boom. And then we need to mirror this across the shape. So one more time. Ever scroll, and then Alt X, and new mirror, and boom, right? And there you go. In fact, no, this is mirrored, so we don't have to do it. And there you go. So now we look pretty cool. And we could also chamfer these, you know, these here. I think it's gonna look pretty awesome. So let's remove the bevel. Let's go here and let's multiply this. And then let's select all these. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we will see. Yeah, this one here, this one, and this one. We're gonna mirror this again, so don't worry about it. And then, you know, chamfer them here like this, right? How are we looking? This could be interesting. So let's bevel this. Let me see this. I think it's better because it creates kind of like a clearance here. These chamfers, you know, they could be larger. But don't overdo them because you're gonna be clipping the bevel, so I think that's max we can go. And boom, right? How are we looking? I think we're looking sick. Alright, so let's mirror this. One more time. And then mirror this across. Alt X A and mirror, boom. Okay, next one. So here, let's cut this. And if your array moves, it means you didn't apply scale. But you're gonna have to then cut it and rearrange it. But what I wanna do here is I wanna cut this like this, right? With these tiny cuts on the top. I think it's gonna, yeah, this is awesome. That is actually freaking cool. And I'm going to grab these cuts and Shift D them here. And I'm gonna, you know, cut this one difference, right? And they are closer here, so GY and move it closer, so they're the same, okay? Let me see that. That is freaking awesome, okay? That is really, really, really cool. Now we need to be careful with the bevel here, so you see we are clipping something here, so let's make this taller, yeah? Let's make this taller, there we go, and same here. I think here we good, but just to be on the safe side, let's make it taller, okay? Peachy. I like that. I like that. Now the monitor, because seriously, yeah, you know, I mean, we can keep it here. Let's just nuke this rubbish. We can keep the monitor here like this, right? And make it a bit smaller. And we could, you know, I mean, you're not going to be able to see that because what I want to do is I want to build a hood. I mean, I forgot about the elements. So we're going to control click on curve extract here, boom, to, you know, isolate this, Shift S and to geometry. And we're going to go to local and we're going to, I think, maybe we could extrude, let me see this, let's extrude this. And what I want to do now is create a hood here. So in order to pull this off, I might need to nuke this bevel. Okay, let's go to bevel. I mean to object as edit view, edit mode, whatever. And let's grab these and Alt A and align them, right, like this. And we're going to clean mesh. Right. Okay, and then we're gonna mirror this, okay? And let's just nuke the bevel for now. And let's apply everything. So smart apply. And now what I want to do is I want to cut this. So let's run a cut from here like this, right? And here, like this, okay? Cool. Then we're gonna drop this down to here. Where's my human? Get me my human. There we go. Let's just G Shift Z him here. And plant him in here. Perfect. See, this is perfection. So now this hood could be going slightly upwards like this here. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, so here. G and move it in here like this, right? Okay. And we're gonna make this narrower probably. So select the top and scale it. In fact, wait. Let's grab a loop here, like this, Alt A and bottom. Actually, no, we can't do this. We need to align it differently. We need to align this one to this one. So let's go to edit view here, Alt A and top. There we go. If you move this one, you're gonna disturb this angle. Perfect. And then with this one, we're going to grab the top and then scale it like this, okay? And we can just now run a bevel here. Boom. Yeah, there you go. Okay, perfect. And then we're gonna have a bevel here. And then, you know, a bevel here. So run a bevel on this, right? Come on. What the hell happened here? One more time. Run a bevel here. What in the hell? Just 3 to clean it. There we go. Here, this one. Run a bevel here. Don't worry about the middle, it's fine. And then let's run a bevel here. How are we looking? And now, since we have this cut, you see, if I'm gonna apply this around the bevel, I can't because I'm gonna be limited by these. Unless I'm gonna be running this with NSolve. But without NSolve, we're gonna grab this one and run a bevel on this first, right? So with this done, like this, now I can actually have 2 bevels. And I think that this one should be a little bit higher. Let me see this human. Yeah, this should be higher. So let's grab this cutter, Alt-Z and B, select this and G-Z and move it up here like this, okay? So we got this kind of situation, right? And let's just drop this monitor lower. Nothing be perfect, okay? Now we're perfect. So now we can apply this. Let's just go here and, you know, let's actually grab this cutter and run it lower. There we go. And now we can apply this, so sharpen. And we're going to grab this inner face and we're going to insert it like this. And, oh, in fact, you know what we could do? We could run a basic hood on it. Let's just clean the geo. We could run a basic hood on it. So remove this face, or even select just these faces, right? Just these. Just press W for selection, hold shift and select all this. If you select something you don't want to, hold control. And then Q, and we're gonna control click extract this and nuke this one. And we can just hide this one, right? So shift 2 and go back. So now with this one done, let's grab this and scale it down. Okay, so we're gonna scale it down here, move it backwards, and we're going to solidify it outside. Okay, so Q, and we're going to go to modify and solidify it outside like this, and scale it up a bit so it fits, right? More or less. Okay, and move it forward here. There we go. And we're gonna have to cut this now, yeah? So grab this modifier, this one, make it larger, and move it somewhere here. And then cut it here, difference. And also we need to cut this one, right? So, you know, cut this one like this. So it's gonna be straight. And then sharpen. And this should work. This should work, with emphasis on should. Let's see, bevel. There we go. Just don't overdo the bevel. And we got some beef here. But we can fix this, okay? We can fix this. So connect these two. And move this one above the bevel. Like this. And you're good to go, right? And then shift, control click on sharpen. And then we're good to go, right? And we can hide this. And that's a little bit better, right? That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. And in fact, you know, we could have this kind of coming deeper here. So we could just move this here and simply grab the back face, right? And move it backwards. So, you know, inside of the here, right? So G, Y, and boom, right? Do you know what I mean? And then grab them both and so then move it closer here. And that makes more sense to me, you know, that makes more sense to me. And this monitor could be mounted here on inside. So just shift curve extract this, make it smaller. And, you know, we could have 2 of them, one here, right? And one on the other side or whatever, or just one in the middle, you know. And simply solidify it, so, right? And, you know, you could have some kind of a mounting for the monitor there, right? You can see that, so it's fine. Or in a on the bottom here, you know, like this, right? Like a hinge, whatnot. Boom, right? It's fine. Could actually use 2 of them, to be honest. Just mirror them across this and you're gonna be fine. Boom. And there we go, that's the monitor sorted. Now we got some protection from elements, you know, because the previous one didn't make any sense. Now here in these railings, we could have some more hooks in my opinion. So Shift D and move them up, and RY and -90. And we could make them smaller like this, right? And just run them inside, you see here. Let me just see this. Boom, right? Here inside, you know what I mean? Right, like that. And we could just kind of space them a little bit better. So we could have 5 of them. So array and make 5 of them, and you're gonna space them around here, right? So they kind of misaligned here with these. Do you know what I mean? Right? But they're gonna add additional detail, you know, and move this to the other side. Boom, right? But for me, this makes sense. This could be either on the top or on the bottom. All right, now what we need to do, we need to fix this door. And for the door, to be honest, I need to, for the door, we could have kind of cut like this here, you know, and a handle. So this is gonna be painful because probably we're gonna be encroaching on a lot of things, but let's see. So we could do this, right, and just run a bevel over there. Shift click, then grab this one, run a bevel, like this, right? And obviously this is, we need to bring it to local view and, you know, and do that, right? And obviously we need to align this with control here, like this. And you're gonna have a lot of grief, so just get the hell out of the bevel. Because you have a bevel here, you see that? I mean this one right in the bottom. This one is still doable, but the one on the top is gonna be a problem, so you wanna be careful. So now let's see what's happening here. Just move it a little bit. There we go. As long as it's on a kind of correct height, it should be fine. Now I'm not sure about this one, but this could be interesting. Could have a handle here that goes down. Like this, right? And this is a little bit too deep, so I have a scroll and, you know, move it on X, so GX, right? And the bevel is way too thick in my opinion. This bevel should be, you know, just not so thick, should be smaller. There we go, kind of more, you know. Boom, right? And we could technically apply this, but you know, it's fine, I think. And so we could have a handle here, so let's just run, in fact we could just run a cylinder, you know, so cylinder, and doesn't have to be 32, can be 24, even smaller, and move it in here, and let's just you know, align it. So G, hold control and align it here, then GZZ, make it smaller, GZZ, and scale it, right? Then again, just slap it in here and make it smaller, and bevel it, and we're going to chamfer it, right? And just let's place it somewhere here, and or maybe even here like this. So you pull the lever down and pull it towards yourself. I think it's gonna be cool. You know. Or this cut could be the other way around. Do you know what I mean? So hang on. Let me just have a scroll this. Oh, do we really need the cut for this? Maybe we don't need the cut at all. Maybe we're overthinking this, you know? Maybe we just need a handle. That's it. Somewhere. We could even embed this in the mesh. And then let's just move a cursor here. And then we need some kind of a shape. So we can draw it with, we could draw it with an n-gon. So the n-gon, and with deselected, we can just do something like this. One second. I need to deselect everything. There we go. And then draw a shape here like this with a cyclic off, by the way. So something like that. Press T for solidification, and one more time. There we go. And then rotate it. Where is it? Press E, extrude it a bit and click. I know it's a bit disorienting, but what you could do, you could go to local view. Okay, so local view, and one more time deselect this and then run a cut here like this. I mean the shape. Click, right? Press tab, and then create a shape and click, right? Now let's bring it forward. Let's go back and let's see this. So let's select the edge in the middle and bevel it, right? And then we could just move it in here. And obviously this is going to be probably too big, but let's just align it. So hold control. There we go. Move it in here. And we're going to cut it from the top. So select this. I can't select the face. Let's apply this. Select the face Q and let's align it. Click and then hang on. Yeah, it's correct. Okay, so one more time. Let's align it. And we're gonna slice it here. So D and go turn on cyclic. And now we're gonna slice it here, right? Like this. So to make it thinner to grab, yeah. Bam, right? And then make sure that this end gun doesn't interfere with this bevel here, okay? Because it's very important. Because again, you're gonna have a bad day if you do that, right? So G, Z, move it down. S, Z, scale it. And you know, this should do, right? Kind of like this. And then Control sharpen. And we can just smooth it out a little bit here and there, you know. You're not probably seeing this, but you know, for the sake of argument, this could be a chamfer here, by the way. Okay, and we could just, you know, bevel this, right? And then bevel the whole thing. And you're peachy. So let me see that. And there you go. And there's your handle. We need to flip it, yeah. So RZ and 180. There you go. And just align it, right? So R and hold control and boom, right? And you just put it in here. And see that? Cool. That works. We could have even two of them, you know? Like one here, one there. It's like one here and one on the bottom. So you need to open two of them. I think it's pretty cool. So this one could be flipped. So Alt, not Alt Z, Alt X and flip it. Boom, right? And something like this. I think this is pretty interesting. They're not too thin. I think they're fine. And move them in, yeah, so move them in here, right? How are we looking? This one could be a little bit lower. Right. Cool. And the door itself, you know, could have some windows, some such here, right? So you can actually look outside. Maybe not as big, maybe smaller like this. I think it's going to be more menacing. And we're going to cut it in like this. Shift click. I kind of like this sort of angled bit there. And let's apply it, but before we apply it, let's make sure that we don't have a bevel here. We do now. If I'm going to apply this and the bevel gets applied again, I'm going to get freaking annoyed. So let's multiply this. Let me see this. It didn't get applied, did it? No, it didn't. Okay, perfect. So let's grab this one now and shift curve extract. So here, boom, right? And then we're going to have this window here in the middle. So in fact, what we could do is insert this face a bit, right? And then shift curve extract. So, and control click on bevel and bevel this one in the middle. And this one could be chamfered, you know, so just saying. I think it's gonna look better if it's chamfered, right? Let's go. And this one should be deeper, so GX, and you know, move it deeper here. So there we go. I think it looks pretty cool. The door opens inside, yeah, not outside, but inside. So the hinges are on the inside, obviously, because there's no more room in here, right? So I think that's good. So that's sorted. That makes sense. Now, what we could do is put some texture on them. We could also do this, you know, in Blender. I mean, with textures, we could just run textures on them to create some kind of a grip, you know, like a gripping surface. So when you walk on it, you're not gonna fall down, right? So there you go. We could have hooks here as well in the back. So what I was thinking, or maybe massive hook on the bottom, you know. So grab one of these, Shift D that to the back, and you know, Alt R to reset the rotation, RZ and 90, so RZ 90, RZ 90 again. Oh, for fuck's sake, RZ 180. And nuke the mirror. We don't need the mirror, and we're going to move it to the middle. You know what? Just more or less, it's fine. It doesn't have to be super exact, but make it really huge, right? And just, you know, bring it in here. I think it's gonna look pretty menacing. And what we could do, in fact, we could, yeah, this needs to be longer here. What we could do is, let's just expand this, so GY, right? We could cut it, you know, like this. So we could cut it here. Come on, this freaking line, man. And K, and then select this and Alt, Control I to invert it, and oh, we need to split this. Hang on, split this, then expand it, and then Control I to invert it, and then SZ to scale it down like that. Boom, and I think it's gonna be kind of cool. And we could scale it on X as well. See, something like this, and then obviously maybe a bit more until it snaps. So G and boom, right there we go. That looks kind of cool. Not gonna lie. In the back, massive hook to pull stuff, and this should be kind of protruding backwards here, you know. So again, this should be, you know, longer. GY, boom, right, going inside there. In fact, we could just kind of create a cut in here, you know. I think it does make sense. It kind of moves outside. I think it's gonna be better. Also, these maybe could be bevels. I could nuke this with you know, easily with Mesh Machine. I don't think I have a Mesh Machine here. No, I don't. I could show you, but this is one-click deal to nuke these chamfers with Mesh Machine. Unfortunately, without it, I can't do it that easily. But maybe I'm overthinking. Anyway, let's nuke the bevel. So let's Shift D this, nuke the bevel. Let's make this larger and simply cut this, right? So difference, right? And then you got this hole here from which this is going to be sliding, right? So now we need to Control sharpen this and sharpen these. So sharpen. And this one we're just going to mirror. And it's gonna fix itself hopefully. So Alt X and just turn off the flip. So X to reset it, and mirror, and you're gonna fix this problem, right? So now we're Gucci, right? Okay, let's go back. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. I like that. You know, in the back here, just add some drama there, fills the empty space, whatever, right? We could add lights here as well, you know, to this one, right? So we could grab this one, to be honest, and just Shift D this here, and we could just simply slice it, you know, like that, right? X and slice it, and then we're gonna have lights, you know what I mean? So let's just apply this, so sharpen, and then, you know, we could create lighting in here. So inside it, extrude it, scale it, inside it, and then extrude it, and then create a light here like this. So make it smaller, and then simply move it in. So, you know, here, boom, right? Just make it smaller again. And drop a light here, one on this side, and mirror to the other side across this, boom, right? You got lights. So that's cool. And we could actually, you know, run lights in here on the back. But I think that's pretty cool. Speaking of lights, we could have lights here in the back, so we could borrow this. Shift D, right? And drop lights here in the back. So they could also act as cameras because they kind of look similar. So we could make them smaller and put lights here. Here, G act. Whoa. GX and move them in here. Right? GY, and there you go. And we get lights here. We could even have two of them, so Alt D and X, and this one could be smaller. So make it smaller and pop it in here. You got now two lights in the back. Or maybe the same size. Or maybe just one. It's fine. You see how this is gonna look with two. I think it's fine with two. We could have them also on the top, on the front, you know. So here, move them to the front, Shift D and Y, and then rotate them RX 180, right? And pop them in here. Boom, right? On the side. Boom, right? It's gonna kind of close the top and also give us some opportunity to, you know, add some lights to this vehicle. We could also have lights in the front, so here, right? Again, Shift D and rotate them. We could have lights running here on the side, so where is it? On the top, right? So G and move it down, and have lights here, you know, right? On the front here, boom, right? I think that makes sense. Okay, that's cool. Here too, we could have some, you know, some cut and maybe some kind of like a bar in the middle, like this. So X and just, you know, slash this here, like that. And this could actually be, let me see this. This could actually be the bevel to chamfer like that. So it fits the narrative. And then we could have some, in fact, let me just bevel this here. I think it's gonna be better, but I could be wrong. Oh. Oh, come on. What in the hell? I can't do this. 3 to clean it. There we go. I think the scale is off. Let me fix the scale here. Control A, apply scale. There we go. Let me see this. I think it's gonna be better. Let's just mirror this across this shape like that. I think it's pretty cool. And we could just run some bar here in the middle. So, you know, borrow one of these edges, whatever, and then curve extract like this. S. In fact, hang on, I got a devious idea now. Press X to reset it. Let's grab this curve, move it in here. Let's convert it to mesh. Let's split this to that many. Let's grab this one and in fact, let's make it wider, a bit more wide. And then Alt D here and scale this like this. Oh, this could be interesting. And then bevel these. And then we're gonna move it back here. Oh yeah. And then curve extract. S. Let me see this. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. And this one could be deeper, you know. So have a scroll and just make it a little bit larger on the Z-axis. So go deeper here. Boom, right? And apply scale. And this one inside here. Now, this one is a pipe. So let's go visual to mesh. Visual transform this. And we need to secure this. Okay, so run a loop here. Run a loop here. Run a loop here. Technically it should be straight, but it doesn't matter. And here, and then we're gonna mirror this, right? Apply the mirror. and run a sub D on it, Control 1 to smooth it. Boom, and you got this, right? And we PG. Oh, I like this. I really like this. That's pretty cool. That looks menacing. And you still could have some, you know, this on that, you know, on this one. I mean, this could also be moved a little bit forward. So GY move forward to give it a bit more space here, you see? Like this. You see this? I think it's better. Maybe it's too much. That's fine. And this one could be, you know, we could grab this one and align it here. Grab another loop, right? And then obviously Alt here macro this, so boom, make it just, you know, beefier here, right? Now in order to bevel this, we will need to probably subdivide this, but if we subdivide this, we're gonna have a problem. So, I mean, if you apply subdivision, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna do it manually. We're just gonna, you know, manually create a bevel here by adding simply loops, okay? Like this, right? The other side doesn't really matter, so. And then Mayor and Bob's your uncle, right? And there you go, okay? That's cool, that's cool. And this should be a little bit lower, so, you know, boom, right, somewhere here. And this cutter again should be deeper. So, there you go. But that's really cool, right? And this one can go to cutters. So, we need handles here. I know it's a long video, but, you know, it is what it is. We need handles here. I think maybe this will do. So Q and Control click on curve extract, and also let's save it, because if this fucking thing crashes, I'm gonna be actually freaking annoyed. Let's move it here on the y-axis and shift S to geo and scale it and move it a little bit on the x. How are we looking? We're looking good. And then grab these and EY, boom. Select these two and, you know, and then mesh tools and curve extract and S. And we could just Control 1 this. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. And then mirror across this one, right? So you got 2 bars to hold here. That is freaking awesome, right? We could also have lights here as well. So Shift D, Y, and move lights. I think maybe 2 lights over there is too many. I think maybe that will do. I'm just saying. And another light here, right? So GZ, GY, and, you know, move them somewhere here, right? That'll make sense. Lights, boom, right? Awesome. So what are we missing? We're missing some bits and bobs on the top, but we could do this in the next video. Some antennas. And maybe some kind of a sliding thing in the window. I'll think about it. We could add some kind of like a rail here on top and, you know, like a shader or something, slide it just for fun. I think it's gonna look cool. And also what we could have is kind of like a thickening on this chimney. So we can do it in this video. So D and, you know, what is with this line, but like for real? Let's run this one here with K. And grab this and, you know, Alt and macro this, boom, right? There we go. Just a little bit of a, you know, lip there. And a bevel, obviously. I think it just looks a little bit more stoutish, you know what I mean? Kind of cool. And you got 1/3, 2/3, a bit more of a flair there for the design, right? Same here, you know, this could be, there could be a bit more fun here. I mean, same here, because there's some cut here. And mirror this to the other side. This should be deeper, otherwise we're gonna have a problem. So have a scroll, make it larger like this, and then mirror across this, boom, right? And peachy. Alright, alright, alright. Oh, they went through. That's actually pretty cool, actually. I like that. I think. Do I like that? I think I'm cool with this. Accidents do happen, but this is kind of cool. Now we need to fix this. You see, like the bevel, I mean the boolean connection is absolutely atrocious. So let's run a cut here. What's this with this line, bro? Okay, and just boom, it's gonna fix the shading, right? So Yeah, I think this is cool. I think we are kind of done with this. So yeah, okay. So let's continue next video because this one is really long. Okay. I'll see you in the next one.